Hello friends and welcome to my channel. Well, today I am here to tell you all about my new pattern Starshine. And so today is a happy day. I get so excited on days that I release new patterns. This one was inspired by Corey Yoder's new fabric line Starberry from Moda Fabrics. And so I'm super excited to share it with you and show you the fabrics that I picked out from her line for it, and tell you where you can purchase them. So let's get started. Well, welcome friends to my channel. If you're new here, I'm glad to have you. And if you're returning, thanks for coming back. I'm happy to see you again. So today I'm talking about my new pattern, Starshine, featuring Starberry by Corey Yoder from Moda Fabrics. As most of you know, if you've been watching me for a while, and if you're new, you might not know this, but I love Corey Yoder's fabrics. She's a fellow Ohio gal like I am. But that's not the only reason I like her fabrics. Actually, I started purchasing her fabrics before I knew what Corey Yoder fabrics were. And a couple of years ago, I went through my stash because I had stuff that I had bought years and years ago and put it away and didn't really, it's almost 10 years ago now, and didn't really look at it. And I pulled stuff out a couple months ago and realized that I had some of Corey's original fabric line from 2014 and didn't even know back then that I was buying Corey Yoder fabric. So apparently I was attracted to it right from the get. So I love Corey's fabric. And when I saw this fabric line being shown to fabric shops, including my own, I was like, oh, I already had some thoughts that I needed to write a pattern to go with it. She always has amazing patterns. I love Corey's patterns, and they're usually my style because she usually has some sort of star in there. But I had this pattern came to mind, and so probably a day or two after I initially took a look at this line, I sketched this whole pattern out and figured out what fabrics I needed for it and ordered them right away. She did another Christmas line called Hollyberry a couple years ago, and I absolutely loved it. So I knew I was going to love this line as well. I really love her fabrics, but her Christmas fabrics are absolutely gorgeous. So that's kind of how I was inspired to make this pattern. Now this pattern, I'm going to pop up a picture here for anybody who hasn't seen it yet on social media. I did post a picture of it, but you may have just found me now. So here's what it's going to look like. It is 77 by 77 inches. So a good size pattern, and I am calling this an intermediate pattern, and I will tell you what that means to me. Because every fabric designer puts beginner, intermediate, advanced on their patterns, but it can mean different things to different people. So to me, that means you need to have a pretty good 1/4 inch seam allowance because you need to make certain pieces in this quilt, and they have to be pretty spot on. You need to be able to cut well, trim well, and then, like I said, the 1/4 inch, and you need to have patience as well, because this quilt is a good size quilt, and there's a lot of little pieces, and you're going to have to be doing a lot of trimming and sewing and pressing to make your blocks come out just right. So that's why I'm considering it intermediate. It's also not something time-wise intermediate that you're going to slap together in like 2 hours. This quilt is going to take a little bit of time. So therefore the patience comes in play, right? This is not a quilt you're going to do in 2 hours and get it done and say, oh, here's your Christmas present. I think this quilt is going to take, if you sat and worked on this quilt nonstop from cutting to sewing, several days. So just an FYI, and I know most people out there don't have time to just cut and sew every day for several days in a row. So I just wanted to let you guys know what the level of commitment to this pattern is, if you want to call it commitment, and the level of that I consider an intermediate pattern. Okay, so with that being said, I want to go ahead and show you guys the fabrics that I picked. The fabric line has a lot of fabrics in it, and I had to pare it down, and that was so hard because I love her fabrics. So I pared it down to what I thought fit the best as far as pattern wise, the sizes of the florals, because she uses a lot of florals in her fabrics, and featured the fabrics the best in the blocks, in the borders, and things like that. So the first thing I'm going to show you is there's 3 greens, 3 reds, and a charcoal fabric, and then you need some background fabric and backing fabric. So the kit that I am going to be selling is just going to include all the print fabrics. You'll choose your own background fabric. 2 reasons for that. Number 1, I don't have enough background fabric. Unfortunately, sometimes as a smaller shop, I get shorted on my bolts, and I didn't have enough white come in to offer that to you guys for the kits. So unfortunately that happened, and it does happen. So there's nothing much I can do about it. They don't have any left. They don't have any left. So I can't get any more. Plus it'll keep the cost down for you guys as well, because we all know fabric is not cheap, but most people have white fabric in their stash. So that's the first thing I'll talk about actually, is the background fabric. So you're going to need 4.1/8 yards of fabric. Now, when I did my measurements, I was right at 4 yards if you don't starch, if you don't make any cutting mistakes. So that's why I added that little 1/8 of an inch or 1/8 of a yard, just to give you a little extra in case you do starch, because that does shrink your fabric a little bit, in case you do make a cutting mistake. And also just for, you know, so you have a little bit of wiggle room to straighten out your pieces and things like that. So what I chose for my stash is I had this Coriander Seeds, which is Cori Yoder's basics line. And she had a basics line that were all tone on tones. And I don't know if you're even going to be able to see that, but it's her X's. She has this X print that came out. She used this in Holly Berry, and that's what made me think it would work really well with Starberry. So I'm using her Coriander Seed, and this is a basic, and a lot of quilt shops have it. I don't have any right now, but this was in my stash. But I've seen this at a lot of quilt shops. So Coriander Seeds, this is the X print. So I'm going to use that as my background. So that's 4.1/8 yards. And then I'll go to the binding fabric, the border fabric. The inner border fabric is this charcoal. It's the star, so Starberry, the star print from her line. So that's the charcoal. And then we'll start with, I'm kind of going backwards on my list from the pattern. So I'm going to start with the reds. And the reason I'm going to start with the reds is because I just showed you the inner border fabric. This is the outer border fabric. It's her gorgeous main floral from the line, this red. I love her reds. They're so pretty. So that'll be your outer border. This will be your inner border. Okay. And then for the blocks. So there's 2 blocks. All the blocks are the same in this quilt, but there's 2 different blocks. There's green blocks and red blocks. And what I mean by that is the green is the main feature in one of the blocks and red is the main feature in one of the blocks. So the red that's in the main feature is this beautiful holly print. So that's what I consider the red blocks. It's gorgeous. And then the red, which is the accent color in the green block, because each block has green and red. The accent color is the red star from Starberry. So we have the charcoal star for the inner border, the red star in the green block. Now, I'm going to go to the green fabrics, and I'm going to show you the accent green that's going to go with the red in the main red block. So it's the words. I love fabric with words. And this one says, Star of Wonder, Star of Light, Star with Royal Beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. So obviously that's a Christmas song. Beautiful. So that's going to be the accent green. And the main green for the blocks is the green floral main. Oh, so pretty. I love, love, love this fabric. So there's the green. And then the green that I picked for the binding is going to be this floral green on green print. So it's really gorgeous. Oh, there's a thread on there. Green print. So that's going to be your binding. Now you'll need, in addition to the background fabric, which is 4.1/8 yards, so you'll have to use that get that yourself. But you'll get all these prints in the kit. So you'll get everything you need with all the prints for the kit, or for the quilt. You'll need the 4.1/8 background fabric, and you'll also need 5 yards of backing fabric of regular width, or 2.5 yards of 108 for your backing. Now, disappointingly, there was not a 108 in this line. I wish there would have been. That would have been gorgeous. I would have bought that, and I would have had some for you guys, but there was not. There was some beautiful prints though, and I did grab this print, which I don't have over here, in the charcoal background for backing fabric, and I will put that in my shop at a later date, but I don't have a whole lot of that. Again, my bolt was shorted, so I probably only have enough for maybe 2 backings for that. But after I sell these kits, I will put any excess fabric that I have left over from Starberry in my shop. And then you might be able to grab your backing from that at a future date or from another shop that might still have it in stock. But like I said, for the kit, and I'm going to straighten all these fabrics up because they're all messed up now. For the kit, you're going to be receiving all the greens that you need, the reds that you need, and then that charcoal inner border that you need. So this is what your kit will look like. And you'll get the PDF version of my pattern. And then you'll just need your background fabric, which I recommend coriander seeds, or if you can find the background fabric that goes with this line. I've heard that it's sold out everywhere, so you might not be able to find it. Or what Corey also recommended to go with this fabric line is the Bella Solid 200 white, which is the off-white. So if you've got some of that lying around, or if you want to purchase that from your local quilt shop, most places that have Bella Solids will carry that because it's a pretty standard white that a lot of people use. So Bella 200 off-white. So that's my announcement for today. I can't wait to hear what you guys think about my pattern, and I will link down below. There's the first comment pinned to my Etsy shop to this kit. Like I said, you'll receive all the fabric that you need, the print fabric, not the background, remember that, and the pattern as a PDF. And the pattern just by itself will be available as well. And then hopefully in the future, well, not hopefully, but I will in the future have some print copies as well. But for right now, I've got the PDF and I've got the kit with the PDF. So super excited to share this with you. I can't wait to see what you guys do with it, if you're using your own fabrics or if you're even using these fabrics. So don't forget to post some pictures in my Facebook group, Together We Sew Quilting. I'll link that down below in the description box. If you just click in that gray box below the video more, you'll see that and the links to my Etsy shop and to the pattern. But again, I will also put the link to my Etsy shop to the kit right as the first comment down below. All right, guys, well, thanks for listening to me and coming on over today. I can't wait to see you tomorrow on my live at 4 p.m. I know it's usually live at 5, live at 4 p.m. doing a jelly roll race with my good friends Steven of the Idiot Quilter, Shannon of Slay Arts, and Russ of Quilt Meets World. And it's not really going to be a race. We're just making a jelly roll race quilt for charity. Now everybody's going to pick a charity of their own choice, and we'll tell you about those tomorrow, but I hope you'll join us for that. I love making quilts and giving things away for charity. It's a wonderful thing to do. And I feel so blessed to have what I have and be able to quilt all the time that I want to share that with people. So I hope you'll check that out tomorrow live at 4 p.m. and I'll see you then. Bye.